This is Sharon Garvin of Wayne State College, and here are the answers for the Buckle activity that you were working on today. Again, what you need to do the activity is to have the total asset numbers, which for fiscal 2015, which ended on January 30th, 2016, are 572,773,000. And for the year before, fiscal year for 2014, which ended on January 31st, 2015, the total assets are 542,993,000. You also need the total liability numbers. The numbers you should have written down were 160,130,000 for the most recent year and 187,715,000 for the prior year. So for the first question, is Buckle growing? Yes, the total assets are growing. Again, total assets are the same as the total liability and stockholder equity numbers you see here. And this is the more recent figure. That is higher than it was the year before. So yes, the company is growing. If you subtract the difference between these two, we had 29,780,000 growth. So that is $29,780,000 worth of asset growth for the Buckle company between the prior year and the more recent year. The second question is, by what percent did they grow? If you take that growth amount and divide by the prior year assets, you would have gotten about 5.48%, or about 5.5%. And using our criteria, 5.5% is between 5% and 15%, so that would be considered medium growth. As far as how Buckle finances their business, you could calculate debt ratios for the 2 years using the liability and asset numbers for the prior year. You take the liability amount, divide by the asset amount. You can leave the extra zeros off because in a division computation they would cancel out anyway. That comes out to be roughly about 35%, 34.57% of the assets of the Buckle company were financed with debt in the prior year. If you use the current or more recent figures, you take total liabilities divided by the total assets for the more recent year and got about 28%, about 27.96% of the assets were paid for with debt, which is a smaller percentage than it was the year before. That means the company is relying proportionally less on debt financing and instead using more equity financing from the owners. And using less debt financing means the company would be perceived as being a less risky company. This is the end of the screencast.